Before the news, you heard Toby Butt playing the tuba because he has won a bursary. He's won a Future Talent bursary. Oldham Music Service have hooked up with the Hallé Orchestra to provide cash for students who are talented enough to be able to make use of it. Now, I mentioned the Hallé there because Steve Picket is from the Hallé, and you're part of this because it all started with a phone call for you, didn't it?
Yeah, Heather, it started from a phone call from a lady I was told was just a teacher. This was Sir Mark Elder ringing me up and telling me that I would get a phone call from a teacher. Well, that teacher happened to be none other than the Duchess of Kent, who was teaching at the time in Hull, music specialist teacher in East Hull. And she wanted to find some trustees and obviously somebody who would be the president of a new charity she was setting up called Future Talent. It was about 5 years ago. And this charity was basically aimed at finding, funding and nurturing musically gifted youngsters from 5 to 18 who didn't have the means or the opportunity to develop their musical talent.
And as we've heard already, you know, from you, Toby, it's £5,000 for a tuba.
Yeah.
Do you know, that's a lot of money for a family to find, isn't it? Now, that's how it started for you. And then how did Oldham Music Service get involved, Gerard?
Well, we had a phone call in about 2006 from the charity via Steve, inviting us to try and set up the auditions for Oldham and target those children who possibly might be relevant and interested.
And it's a usable amount of money, isn't it? You know, you can do something with it.
Yeah, there are 3 major awards: the gold, silver and bronze, £3,000, £2,000 and £1,000.
Right, okay. And so what sort of, I mean, you know, Toby, clearly very serious about music, very serious about the type of music he wants to go into, serious about an instrument that we would see as a classic instrument. Do you have to play a classic instrument? No,
that's a very key thing with the charity. It's open to all young musicians, whatever they play, whether they sing or they play a rock instrument or whatever, it's open to them. The key point for us is that they've got to be very clear in their own minds as to what their ultimate objectives are. They've got to show a clear pathway of progression and how they will use the money to further their own musical progression.
Right.
And also demonstrate some clear evidence of not being able to pursue that path without the injection of assistance from the
So like Toby has explained, you know, he's got a clear career path mapped out. You have to do that. It can't be enough just to want to sit on the end of your bed and just strum away for a while.
Just so, yeah.
Yeah, and can I have £1,000? No, you can't. Steve, this is going to be rolled out not just in Oldham, but hopefully across the whole of Greater Manchester.
Yeah, Heather, at the moment we've got it running in Bolton, Oldham and Rochdale, and as you quite rightly say, the big plan when resources are available through the charity is to involve the whole of Greater Manchester. So we've got Future Talent champions, gold, silver and bronze awards being made in all the 10 boroughs every year. I
mentioned the horrendous cost of the instrument, which as a mother I cannot move away from. You know, my mind is very focused on that because I feel your mother's pain. £5,000 for a tuba. But you mentioned that some people spend the whole of their award on maybe a bow for a cello.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a really talented cellist or a violinist or whatever, I mean, if you're talking about a very, dare I say, a posh instrument, which is going to cost many, many thousands of pounds, there's no point in playing it with a stick.
Yes.
You do need to have the right equipment. And what we've found in some of the students we've supported is since they've got the right equipment, their progression has got more, as it were. They've advanced very much to the next level, and that's really the aim of the charity. Find that need, find that student, and support that process.
So now then, Gerard, how can people get involved if they have a child who is, you know, gifted enough to be able to take advantage of this, or think they might, or, you know, they just want to get some money together to help pay for the £5,000 tuba? What can we do?
Well, there are a number of routes. Firstly, the talent does offer bursaries for students, musical students, all over the country, and the best way of approaching that is just to go to their website, that's Future Talent's website, and fill in the form online there.
Right.
But specifically with regard to the 3 local authorities that are running the Future Champions Award, ourselves, Bolton and Rochdale, to contact your local music service. In the case of Oldham, that's the music service at the Lyceum building in Oldham, and we'll give you an application form. And also, you'd need to complete a letter stating what your objectives are.
Okay. So now then, Toby, back to you, the talent here with your tuba. You know, clearly this is where your future lies. This is what you want to do. You want to be a professional musician. Are you ever going to be in the limelight with a tuba? Do you know? Do you know what I mean? It's like there are. Do you know? That's the question. Are you ever going to be in the limelight with a tuba? Do you want to be?
Not particularly.
Right.
I just really enjoy playing it, and if I could get into a top class orchestra or brass band or other ensemble, that'd be fine for me.
Yeah.
But some tuba players, like my teacher, they go travelling all around the world doing solos, and just the idea of that to me is fantastic.
See, that's my ignorance. I had no idea. Also, that wouldn't be my number one instrument to travel with. Hey, I'm going to go all around the world. What with? A tuba. But obviously, it is lit a flame for you. What would you, if it hadn't been the tuba? What would you?
I'm not too sure, really.
And here's another ignorant question. Once you can play the tuba, does it mean you can play other brass instruments?
No.
Right, okay. That's the end of the ignorant question. I'm done now showing myself up. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us. Wish you all the greatest success.
Thank you very much.
And I'll no doubt I'll get to interview you again when you're incredibly famous and you'll remind me of just how ignorant I was. Gerard Booth, thank you very much indeed from Oldham Music Service, and Steve Picket from the Hallé. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Really appreciate your time this morning, gents. It's BBC Radio Manchester 95.1 FM.